Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Yoipi, bringing you a brand new video here, how to choose a solo drop spot in Fortnite Season 3. I'm going to be going over Craggy real quick because that's my drop spot. Then I'll go over a couple main POIs and some little hidey, little secret, whatever you want to call them, safe spots. So when you're first looking at a drop spot, you want to look at the chest and floor loot. So obviously I'm going for the juice here in Craggy. It's got guaranteed shield, 3 chests, good floor loot, and pretty good mats. So that's what you want to consider, number one. Number two, are you a good off-spawn fighter? Now, Craggy, there's definitely going to be people here. For the most part, I've actually had some games where people don't go there because of the reverse psychology. No one wants to go there because people are going there, and then you end up getting it all to yourself. But that's pretty rare. It doesn't always happen. Number three, different places have different types of fights. Okay, if you land Craggy, it's going to be a lot different than when you land Steamy. For example, by the way, I'm using lootlake.info, and you can turn on all the spawns and all that stuff. Number four, you got to have a reroute option if it's too hot / you have a bad drop. Number five, edge versus center. Okay. Number six, mobility from where you are, from where you're at, aka zip lines, the water flowing, all that stuff. And then we'll talk about mythic POIs. Now, to go back into Craggy here, what I'm thinking about when I'm landing at Craggy is I'm going for main because it has the juice and it has a guaranteed chest up there, which I try to get the best drop for. Right. I hit the juice, I go from there. My reroute option is this island. Well, it was that, but now it's the boat. I look to see how many people. Now the boat has become pretty hot. People love going to the boat in solo arena and probably solo tournaments as well. So that's not as good now because the island, sometimes no one would go there. Anyways, I have a reroute option. That's my last resort. But if I'm going main and I see 2 guys got me beat, or if like 4 people are going main and I'm looking around, so you want to survey the area of your drop spot. So I'm looking around, is someone hitting 2 good ones? These kind of suck, but like, it's better than dying, right? So I'm looking to see if anyone's going to these little ones. But back then you could land here too, but hopefully the water will go away. But you get the point. There's a chest in there too. So I'm looking to see where people are flying around. I am going for main though. If I've got the best drop, I'm going main, right? I'm taking that chance because you got a big ticket, right? However, I am looking to see if anyone's going here as well. So my mobility, well, sorry, my number 2, if I'm a good off-spawn fighter, I've gotten a lot better at off-spawn fights, so I'm feeling pretty confident to go to a place with other people because I just don't give a shit anymore. Let's be real here. I don't care, right? So I'm going to take the off-spawn fight. Like I said, different places have different types of fights. So if you go steamy, it's pretty slow paced. Like people are flying around. It's a little mazy. You've got all this space. It's pretty big. Whereas with Craggy, it's the quick 1-2 Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? Like you land, you kill a guy without the gun. Boom, you're done. Or you land, he's running, he picks up a SMG. You both don't really have shield. Or I hit 1 or 2 juice and then I rush him right away. It's the same thing if you land here. If one guy lands here, one guy lands here, you don't have much time. They're quick fights. They're in close with a shotgun, and which I kind of like. I feel like it's a lot easier to kill someone who's good right away off spawn. Whereas over here at Steamy, if you've watched some other players, like I think Tifu used to land here, was they sit there, they AR a bit, then they fly around, they run around like it's a freaking maze over there at Steamy. Like, I hate that. I hate that. This is simple, straight to the point. The guy might bum rush you, and you just got to win it. It's got pretty good mats. So that's why I like Craggy. And there's a bit of a big dick mentality still at Craggy, even though it's not a main POI. However, it's pretty simple to fight there. Edge versus center. Craggy is on the edge, which means you're going to be running from the zone 9 out of 10 games. Now, a lot of people, I've heard them use this excuse, dude, the zone's always pulling so far. I mean, bro, you can't use that as an excuse when you're landing at Craggy because you got to know that the zone is going to be pulling so far. You're not landing You're not landing at freaking authority, which is dead center. You know what I mean? I'm just going to get rid of these for a second so I can do all this quicker. You're not landing at like frenzy. You're not landing at authority. You're not landing at salty. Those are prime spots for rotations. Okay? And the mobility at Craggy isn't the best either. I mean, we've got the water now, but before you got to hope to God, you just take a boat, right? I'm going to quickly talk about a safe drop. Like, let's say, we'll just use this one because it's right beside it. So the reason why I hate these, I used to do this before in the first map. I was landing frosty uppers, which wasn't that bad, but I was going for one house, and if a guy went there and you're taking a huge 50-50. At least with Craggy, I can go to the houses. I can go to the bottom of main. I can, there's a lot of little different things you can do there last minute, last second switches. But when you go for a spot like this, you are basing off the fact that you've got a better drop and that you get the gun. And risk versus reward. I mean, even if I win the off spawn fight, or I battle him in there with an SMG and he's got a shotgun or something and we're wasting time, and what am I coming out of there with? Nothing really, right? So you're kind of banking on the fact that no one goes there, which, let's be real here. If you're going there, someone else is definitely going there, right? Stop thinking that you're going to get the spot all to yourself, because it never happens, guys. That's one thing I've realized in solos is you'll never, especially spots like that, you'll never get them to yourself. Maybe sometimes, but you got to be thinking someone else is thinking the exact same thing as you. Okay, you're not the only one coming up with this idea. With the safe drop, yeah, maybe you only get one person there, and if you've really mastered it and it's working for you and you know to land on the gun, right, you've got the best drop, you've jumped out the plane or the bus over and over and over again, and you figured out the mats there and the routes and it works for you, go ahead. You can go with the safe drop. I, however, think if you're going to fight people anyways, you might as well win a place like Craggy or a POI, with more loot, right? Because you're not going to get much loot from a safe drop, so you're going to have to just deal with shambles loot. And I was saying, screw that, man. Like, why am I always running around with no freaking guns, no mats, like barely any shield? I was done with that. You know what I mean? Let's talk about the mythic POIs real quick. Like Caddy Corner. Okay, here the risk versus reward thing for Caddy Corner. Right, it's obviously got the grappler, and you've got the henchman that can kill you. It could potentially kill someone. It could potentially weaken someone you're fighting too, though. So the henchmen are kind of a pro and a con at Caddy. Kit, whatever her name is, right? But like I said, when I host these custom role, people dying in Kit half the freaking all my games if someone's dying in freaking Kit. Now the loot here is insane. Obviously, you get the grappler. That's really good for the whole game. So mobility is not an issue. End game, you don't need a launch pad. You've got the grappler with the auto redeploy. So many people go to Caddy Corner. So if you were to go to Caddy Corner, you're better off landing somewhere up here around it and then maybe going Caddy Corner. You could hard drop it. Like I said, I haven't figured out Caddy Corner. I don't land there. I would advise against it, but obviously people have figured it out. Pros have figured it out. So you could go Caddy Corner and try to bang out and big dick. However, there's a lot of variables. That's one thing I don't like. Like I said, that's why I go Craggy. It's pretty simple. You get good loot. You get the shield. You can swim. You take the boat. I go from there. I usually get a launch pad from there. Maybe 1 or 2 kills off spawn, because if I get the gun and they don't, it's free licks. I mean, it's tough to play the edge, guys. It is tough to play the edge. You really got to have it figured out. That's on you. That's an executive decision you're going to have to make for yourself. But just to quickly go over the chest/floor loot. You want to make a pros and cons list. Chest, floor loot. Are you good off-spawn fighter? Different places have different types of fights, so depending on what kind of fight you want to take. I mean, Frenzy, you've got the corn. You know what I mean? Like, do you really want to fight in the corn? Not me. Screw that. You want to have reroute options. You want to think about reroute options depending on where you land. Like I said, if you go Fortilla, I don't think there's too many reroute options other than that little thing down there. Edge versus center for zones, obviously. The mobility, and then take into consideration how hot the mythic POIs are there, but you do get the great reward. Now, I know there was a lot of talking in this video. I hope you enjoyed. I didn't want to go too in-depth. If you guys want more in-depth stuff like this, let me know. I'm just trying to share some general knowledge that I've learned over the time to help you figure out something as well. But if you want something more in depth, I could definitely go more in depth with just one certain drop spot. I've already had a comment to just fully go over Craggy, so that could be my next video. I could fully just go over each POI that gets voted for if you guys want, and talk about what's good there, what's bad, how you should play it, etc., etc. So thanks for watching, thanks for following, thanks for subscribing. Most importantly, thank you for your time. I'm out this. Use my code Yoipi in the Fortnite item shop. Peace.